This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Man, so the Super Bowl just happened last week, and that was a nail biter.
What a terrible game. I mean, I'm happy for the Eagles. I did not want Patrick Mahomes to have a three-peat. No dynasty today, Mr. Mahomes. He was crying on the sidelines, apologizing to his teammates.
Well, I don't understand. I just don't understand why people don't like. Why not have a three-peat? What's the problem with that?
I don't know. We just want the underdog to win. We don't like the Taylor Swift team. She was booed at the game.
But he's a Christian dude. Like, he's a Christian dude.
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely. But so is the other team. Everybody in NFL is Christian. Everybody thanks God at the Grammy Awards, you know?
True. No, I hear that.
I respect Patrick Mahomes. He's a great player, but you want to see someone else win. You don't want to see, especially if you're a Niners fan, right? You don't want to see another team have a dynasty or a three-peat. You want that to be reserved for your team.
For your team.
So anyways,
okay, I get it if it's your team.
Aside from that, the halftime show was, I don't know, I didn't understand a phrase of that whole halftime show.
Well, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, I think is his name. You like Kendrick Lamar?
No, I'm not a Kendrick Lamar fan. I probably couldn't even say.
So you're a Drake fan then?
I'm a Drake fan.
Do you know what that was all about? There was some kind of rap battle war going on.
Dude, I grew up listening to Frank Sinatra.
There you go.
And the country music.
Do you know that Kendrick Lamar has 22 Grammys? Guess how many Grammys Frank Sinatra has?
I think it's like 3 or 4.
2 or 3, yeah. Can you believe that? Beyonce has like 33 Grammys.
Well,
what is wrong with this place?
That's what's wrong with America. They're just handing out the Grammys to the wrong people. But what stood out to me was the commercials. The commercials were pretty bad. Yeah,
I didn't find any of them entertaining or funny or emotionally appealing or impactful at all.
No, the two that kind of irritated me the most was one, the Bud Light one. It's like everybody that's on those Bud Light commercials are just largely like a sellout to me. Are
you talking about the cul-de-sac one with Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning, all those guys, the comedian. Like, I'm like, okay, well, they just went down a notch in my book. Like, I'm not a fan of that. Like, that just
because
just
of the political ideology and what they did with Bud Light.
Yeah. So basically, those guys are all just for hire. Right. To me, when I saw that, their reputation is for hire.
All celebrities and
there's a lot of
NFL.
beer. There's a lot of beer companies out there.
It's true.
You can go to Coors.
Maybe they like Bud Light.
Maybe they like Bud Light. But anyways, so that one kind of irritated me. But the one that like I just rolled my eyes at was those freaking Homes.com commercials.
Oh, you didn't like those? I thought they were somewhat amusing.
Somewhat amusing. Homes.com is the best.com.
You got Morgan Freeman.
No, he was cool.
America's great.
He's cool.
Actor.
Yep, he's cool. But here's the thing about those websites that I don't think most people understand is that oftentimes the data's wrong.
Why would they post incorrect data? Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? It's just because they're so big. They're not. Imagine trying to orchestrate all the pendings and all the actives and everything that's selling and all the home values nationally. It's just not going to be the same as if you're a local company.
Well, according to the commercial, though, Morgan Freeman said repeatedly, I don't know how many times the ad played, probably 4 or 5 times, Homes.com is the best.
Yeah, that's what they said. But here's the other thing, too, that I don't think most consumers realize. So, for example, if you go to get pre-approved for a home loan, as soon as you pull your credit, as soon as you authorize that lender in writing to pull your credit, that information then gets blasted out to all these different lenders. Same thing happens when you're on these websites. Like, you need to really check into their security settings or their privacy settings because they are reselling your information to other people involved in the real estate transaction. And so what these websites are is they're not necessarily there to provide you with information. They're there to sell your information. And so if you're not into that, then just be aware of what it is you're doing when you sign up. And also, so that's honestly one of the reasons why we created our own app. So Made for More has its own app where you can search in privacy. Nobody else is. We're not selling your data. We're not doing any of that. So it's available on the Android and the Apple Store or the App Store. So you just type in Made for More, same as the shirt spelling on the shirt, right? Made, M-A-D-E, number 4, More, M-O-R-E, and you'll see us pop up. You can download it for free, and you can start searching locally in privacy. Nobody's going to blow you up or sell your information or try to sell you a security system. But that's one of the things that made me mad. The second thing, and I'm speaking to real estate agents right now, that makes me mad about Homes.com. Maybe I'm wrong, Please call me out if you think I'm wrong about this. But what Homes.com is doing to real estate agents is they're promoting that, hey, if you advertise with us, your listings are going to get more exposure.
That's not true.
So
they're running commercials during the Super Bowl.
So technically, your listings are going to get more exposure. But what they're doing is they're taking your listing. So you spent money, you spent time, you spent energy getting this listing, and paying for the photos, paying for all that. And now what they're going to do is they're going to take all that hard work, all that money that you put into it, and now they're going to ask for more money. And what they're going to do is they're now going to promote your air quotes your listing on all these different websites. So if you're scrolling through like the news or you're scrolling through other areas of the internet, yeah, technically your house is going to be seen. But if you're looking at LA Times, you're not looking for houses. And what makes me mad about Homes.com is essentially what they're doing is they're using real estate agents' dollars to fund a retargeting campaign. So all they're doing is they're just reaching out to people that may have been on Homes.com or who may have never been on Homes.com, and they're using that to expand their presence. So Homes.com says they may have millions of impressions every month, but their actual website traffic is much lower, and they're just talking about those retargeting campaigns that they're using that's being funded in part by other real estate agents' dollars. And I've talked to people who have paid for, because I was actually looking to do it. Like if it's going to increase the exposure of my clients' homes, then absolutely that's something I want to invest in. But I talked to some top teams, and they're like, yeah, we get a lot of impressions, but we haven't gotten any calls from it.
Oh, really?
We haven't seen any uptick in business from it. And to me, that just means the marketing is just a brand awareness campaign for Homes.com, not for the realtor and certainly not for your home. So that's why I kind of get fired up when I see those Homes.com ads, right? Because it's not doing the consumer any good. It's not doing the agent any good. All that it's doing is promoting Homes.com, because Homes.com stated goal is to take down Zillow. Now, should Zillow get taken down? Should there be more diversity in the marketplace? Absolutely. I'm not saying that Zillow is a saint, but I think the marketing that Homes.com is using is borderline unethical.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. They've actually been in multiple lawsuits about this, mainly with Realtor.com.
So you also said that when you go on there, let's say I watched the Super Bowl commercial and I went to Homes.com, are you saying the information on there is not accurate?
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not accurate, right? And so I'm not saying it's 100% inaccurate, but it's not as accurate as, let's say, if you were to download the Made for More app, because we're just focused hyper-local on the Sacramento market. And that is, and so our information gets updated. I think it's every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes. So it's really, really quick, and it's private. So again, it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to, I'm not being paid by you downloading the app, but if you want something that's different than Zillow.com, something that's different than Homes.com or Realtor, check out the app.
What do you think about clients that go and they look for homes on their own and they connect with the realtor and say, hey, I saw this one online. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer that clients that you show your clients the homes that you have found and that you think will fit what they're looking for?
So I'm a big advocate of more freedom in the marketplace. So if consumers want to go out there, if our clients want to go out there and look for homes, by all means, look on Zillow, look at Homes.com, send them our way. But again, I'm not trying to really oversell the app, but on the app that we provide our clients at no additional cost, you can instantly heart it. You can instantly forward it to our agents, and they'll say, hey, I want to see this house. I want to see this house. And so it just really streamlines the communication rather than having to share a Zillow link, and then you're sharing a home that technically went pending 3 days ago, but Zillow hasn't updated.
Wow. Okay. So there you go.
So if you want to search it, by all means, go ahead and search on those platforms. But just realize, one, the data may be wrong, and two, your information's getting
So
sold.
are you now boycotting Morgan Freeman movies because he was in the commercial? You're no longer going to watch The Shawshank Redemption or Bruce Almighty?
So I think this is somewhat interesting. So the difference between Morgan Freeman, he was paid to do that. I don't think he necessarily knows all the stuff that's going on with Homes.com, and I wouldn't expect him to know.
No, of course not.
But the Bud Light website. But the Bud Light guys, they knew.
Really?
They all. I mean, who didn't know?
Yeah.
About the Bud Light controversy. I'm not into the news. I'm not into that stuff. I'm into real estate, and I knew about that. And so if you're supporting a company that was actively tearing down things that I believe and supporting things that I don't, then come on, man.
So does that mean you will not watch Peyton Manning or what's the musician guy that was in there.
Oh, the comedian?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. He's
Yeah.
super funny. But no, I won't say I won't watch them, but my level of respect for people like that went down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Post Malone. And Shane Gillis.
Oh yeah, Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis is the comedian, super funny guy. And I don't know. I don't know how you can take
Your
money.
respect for them has dropped since
People
they're doing anything for money. Apparently.
Yeah, people got to earn a living.
What if they
I
don't
totally get
agree
that.
with you though? Maybe
Then
they
that's
don't.
fine.
They don't politically agree with you as far as what Bud Light has done. Maybe
That's
they're
fine.
okay with it.
That's fine. Then I also just disagree with you. Right? Like I just that whole movement.
So do you base your entertainment consumption on what a performer or what a content creator thinks politically?
I wouldn't say I base it on it. What I do is I first
go ahead.
First and foremost is like there's this movie, I think Equalizer 3. I really wanted to watch it, and I started watching it, and I was like, man, this is just dark. Like I don't want to be putting that into my brain. Like
Sure.
The stuff that happens in between your ears is huge. And so that's kind of where I look at it first. And then second of all, it's like, would I want my kids to see this? Is this providing any value to my life? Is this providing any value to my kids?
And I think that ties in with who you work with. I would say, and I'm not trying to, boost you or anything, but you want to work with people that align with your character, your morals, and your values.
Yep.
I feel that way.
Yep.
I like working with people that obviously know what they're doing. I mean, that's the bottom line. You want to work with somebody who's going to get you the most money for your house and in the fastest amount of time, who has some experience and knows what they're doing. But also, it's a benefit when you're working with someone that you trust them. Character is important. Character is important.
So when I'm meeting with agents, and sellers, home sellers, I always ask them this question. I always ask, hey, what are you looking for in a real estate agent? What's important to you? And sometimes people don't know what to say. Sometimes some people say some really off-the-wall things. But what they consistently say is they want somebody who's honest, that has good communication, and a strong marketing plan. And I know that I'm probably going to resonate with that person when they don't say honesty, when they use the word integrity. Because to me, that's something my dad instilled in us. And so to instill integrity, to use the word integrity is like a little step up. There's a little bit more, to me at least emotionally, around the word integrity versus just your base honesty. Because I would expect everybody to be honest, but I don't necessarily expect everybody to act with integrity. And so you bring up a good point. Who you work with matters, and are they a person of integrity?
Right.
But
sometimes, how do you know that unless you know the person personally? But you always say, don't always trust that your friend who's a realtor knows what they're doing. But, you can look at Google reviews. You can ask other people who have worked with the person, right?
Yeah.
How are they as a person?
Yeah, and
how are they to work with?
You get a good reading, like if they have a professional presentation. Like, for example, I just was in a person's house doing a listing appointment where was I? In Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the third realtor for her that she interviewed. And I was asking her about like, hey, did the other agents show you this? Did the other agents explain this? And she's like, no. And these are like just base things.
Oh yeah,
that
that's
I would
good.
Expect an agent to know. And then I get through with the marketing plan. And here at the Made for More team is we never let a commission get in between us and working with the client. So we have what we typically charge, but we will also, depending on the situation, price match if we need to in order to earn that person's business if we think we're a good fit for them. And so I had offered to do this for her. And she's like, okay, let me think about it, which typically code to me means I'm never going to hear from you again.
Right.
But she calls me up the next day and she goes, Johnny, I just really enjoyed working, like your presentation and just how you shared everything. I'd like to hire you to sell my house. I said, great. And she's like, oh, and by the way, I want to increase the fee that I'm going to pay you. Because she's like, that you guys are worth way more. If you guys are providing even half of what you shared with me, you're worth way more than what these other agents were charging. So,
what a great recommendation.
Yeah,
there you go.
So when it's not too often that you get in the living room and somebody's willing to give you a pay raise.
Right.
So if you want to have us in your living room, if you want to learn about how we operate with integrity and how we can help get your home sold faster and for more money, just go to madeformorerealty.com.